Good evening. This is BBC Newsline, the headlines this Friday evening. The family of a grandmother found unresponsive after carers mixed up her medication say they thought she had died.
My younger sister actually found my granny unconscious, unresponsive, and at the time I was at work, and I got the phone call from my sister saying, "I think Granny's dead."
Two men who installed a camera in the driveway of a retired policeman's house have been jailed. The culmination of an unforgettable year for Rory McIlroy as he wins the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award.
Incredible, yeah, just I guess the perfect way to end 2025, what's been, the best year of my career.
A pay deal could be on the cards for teachers after the Education Minister gets extra money approved. And it's the end of an era for this school's nativity play.
It's not just Rory McIlroy who's had a year to remember, so has motorcyclist Michael Dunlop. We'll hear from him and we'll look ahead to all the festive sport.
And we've had some welcome sunshine today, but is it set to stay over the weekend? I'll be back with your full forecast at the end of the programme.
Hello, you're very welcome to the programme. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, the 19th of December. First, tonight, the family of a Newtownards grandmother who was found unresponsive after being given the wrong medication by domiciliary carers have said they thought she was dead. It was the second time in recent months that Ellen Whitla had mistakenly been given medication prescribed to her daughter. Luke Sproul has more.
Ellen Whitla is an 87-year-old grandmother described by her family as mobile and sharp for her age. But last week her loved ones feared for her life. Instead of giving her medication for Parkinson's disease, her home carers mistakenly gave her pills prescribed to her daughter after finding them in the home the two women share. Both women's medication comes in blister packs and is marked with their names. Shortly afterwards, she was found seriously ill.
About an hour afterwards, my younger sister actually found my granny unconscious, unresponsive, and at the time I was at work, and I got the phone call from my sister saying, "I think Granny's dead." I was horrified. My heart sunk, and she did require oxygen therapy because her oxygen levels had dropped, her heart rate was dropping, so this was frightening, and her breathing was shallowing. Every minute waiting on that ambulance felt like an hour.
Mrs. Whitla was taken to hospital, where Mr. Gibson said doctors told him the cause of her condition was one of the antidepressants she had taken. Her condition eventually improved and she was released from hospital, but in the next few days she continued to suffer from severe confusion.
Different members of the family visiting her, she actually, all same opinion, Granny wasn't with us, she was away with it. Confusion levels was just off the Richter scale, really.
Mr. Gibson said the Trust's initial response to him in a phone call by a staff member was unprofessional.
He confirmed who I was and said, "I'm just here, I just want to ring you to discuss the wee incident with your grandmother," which was in the midst of the fear of my grandmother's health and well-being. This was diabolical, this was shambolic, that the first person to contact me was describing this as a wee incident.
Mr. Gibson said the family intended to make an official complaint to the Trust. The Trust said it had been in touch with Mr. Gibson to apologise and that an investigation was now underway. It said patient safety was a top priority and that it treated incidents like this one very seriously. A spokesperson added that it would be in touch with Mrs. Whitla and her family to inform them of the outcomes of the review and any lessons learned. Luke Sproul, BBC Newsline.
Two men who installed a wildlife camera in the driveway of a retired police officer's home have been sentenced. The court heard they planned to obtain information to enable an attack on his life. A judge described them as dangerous. The PSNI later said the setting up of the camera had been done on behalf of the new IRA. Lindsay Telford was in court.
The placing and positioning of a wildlife camera in the driveway of a retired police officer's home could only have one purpose: to monitor his movements with a view to targeting him in a future attack on his life. That was according to Judge Patricia Smith today. She said this was a grave matter, a plot that was only foiled by police. 56-year-old Damien Duffy from West Clare Court in Dungannon and 31-year-old Shay Reynolds from Kilwilkie Road in Lurgan were convicted of 6 joint terror offences dating back to September 2016. Prior to installing the camera in the driveway, they had placed it on a road in Coal Island. It was the defence's case that this was about collecting evidence, but Judge Smith said the offending went beyond that. She said this wasn't a case of attempted murder because a number of additional acts would have needed to have been carried out, but she said these men were dangerous. Duffy was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison and Reynolds to 11.5 years, both with 5-year extension periods. The court heard Reynolds had already served a long period in remand. Lindsay Telford, BBC Newsline at Belfast Crown Court.
Now, what a year it's been for Rory McIlroy, and now he's ending it as the BBC Sports Personality of the Year for 2025. The Hollywood golfer collected the award, which is voted for by the public, last night at the glittering ceremony at Media City in Salford. The year saw McIlroy win the Masters to become the first European golfer ever to complete the career Grand Slam of majors, and he was also instrumental in helping Europe to Ryder Cup success. Stephen Watson reports.
The BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2025 is Rory McIlroy.
A fitting way to end a fabulous year in which Rory McIlroy simply couldn't stop winning. And last night the public ensured he was recognised as the BBC's Sporting Star of 2025. With a Masters victory back in April, he completed a lifetime's ambition of securing the Grand Slam. Now, another trophy he'd always wanted to win.
Incredible, yeah, just the perfect way to end 2025, what's been the best year of my career. Unbelievably humbled that the public went out and voted and recognized what a great year it's been for me, and I want to thank them obviously to be sitting by their phones and voting, and it's been an absolutely incredible year, and this is a lovely way to end it.
It shows perhaps what your success has meant to people this year as well.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. But I also think it's a big night for golf. The European Ryder Cup team won the team award, and then for me to win the individual, it's a huge night for golf, and I think everyone involved in the game should be incredibly proud of how far we've come. It's the first golfer to win since Nick Faldo in 1989, incredible.
What will it mean to you to go home and celebrate this success with your family?
Yeah, it means the world. I remember watching Sports Personality of the Year with my mum and dad, leading up to Christmas every year, and you're always excited to see who's going to win, and it was one of the biggest TV nights of the year growing up. So I think my mum and dad knew how much it meant to me, and I'm glad I'm finally able to sort of get my hands on it. I just think this time of the year it's going to be so nice to go home, see Erica and Poppy, have my folks there, her folks, and just reflect on what an unbelievable 12 months it's been.
And here's hoping 2026 holds more silverware. Stephen Watson, BBC Newsline.
Yeah, Stephen was there, but he's back and he'll be here in the studio in just a few minutes with this evening's sport. Now, a pay deal could be on the cards for teachers this year. The Education Minister, Paul Givan, got the go-ahead from the Executive, who approved the extra money he needs to spend. That means he will be able to make an offer to teachers early in the new year. And a 4% rise is the figure being talked about. Our education correspondent, Robbie Meredith, has more.
Sorting teachers' pay can be a saga. Some recent pay deals have taken years to agree, and that has led to strikes teachers on picket lines and closed schools. Another pay saga seemed in the cards after a row over money at the executive in midweek.
Whenever health workers are getting their pay award, whenever police officers are getting their pay award, public servants across the civil service are getting their pay awards, teachers should not be treated any differently when it comes to allowing a pay award to be made.
Education's set for a big overspend in its budget, but 2 days on, the Minister now says he can spend money on teachers' pay this year, and he has an offer in mind.
We looked to what the pay offer was in England, and that was 4% through their own pay review body. We have our own independent structures in Northern Ireland that deals with pay, but I do believe that it is reasonable that we would be aligning ourselves largely with parity when it comes to teachers' pay, similar to the way in which we do for health workers, and this would allow, I've made provision to allow a pay award to be made up to 4%.
Teachers in England accepted a 4% pay rise back in September. Unions here have made it clear that they don't want their members paid less than teachers elsewhere in the UK. But with negotiations to come, they're staying tight-lipped over whether that 4% figure would get a deal here across the line.
That's a question we'll have to put to our members. So on the other side of Christmas, we hope the Minister will be in a position to put an offer to us, and each of the recognised trade unions will go through our own processes to get the views of our members as to whether or not it is acceptable.
But unions are hopeful that a deal can be struck to rule out any strikes.
Everybody in the negotiating room will be wanting strikes to be avoided, so we hope that the Minister will come with a package that will be acceptable to our members.
Those pay talks are due to take place as schools return early in the new year. Robbie Meredith, BBC Newsline.
Now, would you feel comfortable reporting a crime via a video call to a police officer? It's already happening here. The video officer attendance service was made permanent following a recent pilot scheme. And in the new year, it's going to be expanded to include domestic abuse crimes. A charity that works with victims has welcomed the move. Bernie Allen has more.
My name's Alan. I understand that you've been a victim of a crime.
The service allows victims of crime to speak with police officers via a video call. We visited the specialist team at Castlereagh Police Station to find out how it works.
So how is my concern about this incident going to be dealt with today?
Victims of crime are able to choose a video call instead of a telephone or in-person visit. And police say from the 23rd of April to the 4th of December this year, the option has been used 6,813 times. In the new year, there are plans to open a second hub to take more calls. And the PSNI also plans to extend the service to help deal with domestic abuse incidents.
What we've learned from seeing some of this work elsewhere is that for victims of domestic abuse, they can feel more comfortable being able to report it in the way that they're doing, speak to that professional trained officer and from the privacy on their own home in a way that doesn't necessarily mean they're having to share if you have a police car coming that something has happened to them.
A domestic abuse charity says the service could encourage domestic abuse victims to stay within the criminal justice system.
We think it would be really good in relation to women who may be in a very rural location. That accessibility with regard to disability and additional needs as well could be something that could work very well, but we have to make sure that it is a choice and it's not the go-to.
Police say whilst it's been widely reported they are underfunded, it's important they do something that responds to the way people want to get their service, and that the officers used to man the video calls are those who have had to step away from the front line for health reasons or other issues. Bernie Allen, BBC Newsline.
The Christmas nativity play is a highlight in the school calendar, but for rural communities, it's also an opportunity to bring everyone together. The words of the principal of a school near Toome Bridge in County Antrim, which is due to close at the end of this academic year. Our district reporters, Maria McCann and Cormac Campbell, have been visiting some of our smallest schools to find out more about the part they play in our communities.
Dunedin's 18 pupils have been practising for weeks for a very special performance because this is their school's last ever nativity.
My favourite part being in the nativity is telling the story about Jesus being born.
Really nice, and the funny part whenever the star just runs down the aisle.
You're frightening star here. My favourite part of Dunedin is that it has so much joy in it.
I think it's all about where your place is in the community, and for us we're a rural school, we're very much at the heart of the community, and we have been for 135 years, and the nativity has always been part of that, I would imagine, so it'll bring so many people together.
Mrs Matthews says there are mixed emotions as the school has meant so much to generations of families here.
And you see the same names appearing, and that's maybe going back 40, 50, 60 years, and that's a farming community, and they've been here all that time, and I think it's a thought now that suddenly there's going to be a huge change for those families because that tradition is going to come to an end, and that is going to be the end of a legacy for Dunedin Primary School and for the farming community and rural community that we live in.
But for now, the pupils at Dunedin have one thing on their mind.
St Malachy's in Kalife has 35 pupils who all know each other.
I love this school because it's like so fun with my friends, and it's all the teachers are so lovely.
After nearly 160 years, it's under threat of closure.
I think it's the lack of housing. I think that's the main body, and also people aren't having as big families. I mean, I personally am the eldest of 18 children. I have 2 children. My 2 children have 2 children. Financial restraints as well. But I think the main thing is the housing policy.
Currently, we are unsure of when this proposal will be out live. But at the minute, for me and for the staff and the pupils, it's just everything is as normal, and we're just continuing on with normal school life.
And that means preparing for the Christmas play.
I'm a part of 3 Wise Men. I'm a narrator.
Oh, you're the narrator. Can you tell me some of your lines?
I expected once upon a time we've all been on a long journey, or at least a journey that felt long.
But with this school battling for its very future, that journey could have some twists and turns to come. Cormac Campbell, BBC Newsline, Kalife.
Oh, happy Christmas to you all too. Now sport, and Stephen Watson is back from the big do last night. Stephen, Rory finally won after being nominated quite a few times, but
thankfully.
he finally done it.
Yes, the right result. What a fabulous night to end what's been a perfect year. I know we heard from Rory earlier in the programme. He also wanted to make sure that we let everyone know how much he appreciates the support of people in Northern Ireland. He said, Catherine, it's been a real journey together, but promises that there's lots more to come,
Fantastic.
which is good news. Now, turning to tonight's sport, Ulster play the first of 3 interprovincial matches over the Christmas period when they take on Leinster at the Aviva tonight. The reigning URC champions Leinster have won 3 and lost 3 this season, so it could be as good a time as any to play them.
I don't know whether it's good or bad, but yeah, they didn't have a good start to the season. But you know, it's hard to go over to South Africa and win against those guys out there, and it's maybe not so much them playing poorly as opposed to the teams playing against them and played very well. But regardless of which it is, like, they are a team that's chock full of experience and quality. You know, like, there's Lions players throughout it, so it's about making sure that we put the best performance in that we possibly can.
Teams don't want to go head to head with us playing free flowing rugby, do they? They want to slow down our ruck. They want to be nasty at the set piece. They don't want to go back to a Monday meet and be told that they were soft, so everyone's on the edge. And I think if we can play in the right areas of the field and our set piece ticks over like we know it can, fingers crossed it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, big game. And we have local live football tonight in the Irish Premiership. Glentoran host Coleraine at the Oval. The game is on the BBC Sport website and the BBC iPlayer. Glentoran are winless in 5 games, but their manager feels their results haven't reflected his team's performances.
If we were getting battered with the ball and other teams are cutting us open for fun, I would be extremely worried here. But I know the fine margins, and more importantly that we can't fall any further behind. That's the reality. There's a lot of points still to play for. We need to transform decent performances now on the points.
In Gaelic games, Slotneil will attempt to reach the Senior All-Ireland Club Final for the first time on Sunday. The Ulster champions face Galway's Loughrea. And after a one-year break, Chrissy McCaig, now aged 36, has been back in the Derry side this season and providing a boost to the team's ambitions.
Yeah, well, anybody that knows Chrissy would know that he's not going to come back out and do it half-hearted. He wouldn't come out if he didn't think it was the right thing, and he wouldn't come out if he didn't think he was capable of adding to the group. And we're delighted to have him back. There's no point saying anything else. What he's given to our club over the years is unbelievable, and it's a pleasure to play with him.
Now, it's not just been Rory McIlroy picking up awards at the end of the year. Motorcyclist Michael Dunlop was recently at Windsor Castle to receive his MBE from King Charles. Reflecting on another successful season with 3 wins at the Northwest 200 and taking his Isle of Man TT record tally to 33, Dunlop revealed to me just what he and the King talked about.
It was definitely a different experience and a different lifestyle to what I'm used to, so you can probably tell by the way I was dressed I wasn't used to that sort of occasion. But no, hey, look, it was nice, and it was actually nice that I would say the King was well enough prepped, but he obviously knew a bit about us, but the family as such, and it was a bit of an honour that he knew, you know, the family name and what we were about. So yeah, it was a nice thing to add to my list of achievements.
What did he chat to you about?
Well, he knew who my family was, which was nice, obviously, and then he knew about the TT, but obviously his son has been to the TT a couple of times. I think he's been there, so he definitely knew a bit about the racing.
Yeah. Reflect on 2025 for us. I mean, another fabulous year for you.
Yeah, the year's been successful. I think this year we've proven again that we're a force to be reckoned with, and then obviously going to the TT again and doing another. I think that's, I don't know, my times we've won 4 in a row, so it was nice to do it in home Charles de Gaunt's way as well. It was nice to be so competitive. It was nice to do it at house.
Yeah, brilliant year for Michael Dunlop and for American footballer Charlie Smith, because he has just signed a new 3-year deal with the New Orleans Saints and has been elevated to the team's main squad. The Mayo Bridge man will be back in action on Sunday against the New York Jets. Happy Christmas, absolutely, to Charlie Smith, Catherine.
Stephen, thank you. Time for the weather now, and thanks to Free as a Bird for sending in this magic snap of Ballintoy Harbour. In fact, thanks to everyone for sending in their pictures this year. But now, the festive forecast. Ali, how's it looking?
Hi Catherine. Well, it was quite a nice winter's day today. There was a few blustery showers around first thing towards the west, but plenty of sunny spells through the day. As you can see, the sunshine just bouncing off the waves there in Portstewart. And it was a drier afternoon for all, with plenty of clear blue skies, so not a bad day all in all. It is going to stay quite dry overnight with plenty of clear spells. There will be some showers edging in the east coast towards the early hours. Overnight lows sitting around 4 to 7 degrees, but possibly a touch cooler in some rural areas. And it will be a dry and sunny start for most tomorrow. However, it will turn quite unsettled by the end of the day. Some of those showers may linger for a time along the east coast, but there'll be plenty of sunshine and dry weather elsewhere through the morning. Cloud pushing in through the afternoon time, bringing spells of blustery rain by evening. It will be quite blustery for all throughout the day, with temperatures sitting around 9 to 11 degrees. Turning quite wet tomorrow night as that rain becomes widespread and persistent throughout the night for a time. Cloud will thicken alongside that, however it will gradually clear towards the early hours with overnight lows of around 5 to 8 degrees. Now, at the moment, Sunday looks a little changeable and it is uncertain. However, it should be quite a cloudy day. A few brighter spells possible at times, and while it should be dry for most, there is the possibility of a few showers as well. It will be less breezy than today and tomorrow, but temperatures still sitting above average for the time of year. However, that's all set to change next week as an area of high pressure squeezes in from the east, making things feel quite chilly. So it will feel quite chilly by the time we get to Christmas Day. Catherine, back to you.
Ali, lovely, thank you. Now, we're going to end tonight's programme with our final Christmas carol of the week from the children of Lisnagelvin Primary School in Londonderry. Here they are with We Three Kings. Enjoy.